Victor, thank you very much for stepping by here by our Pop-Up Studio.
Nice to meet you, my pleasure.
It's nice meeting you too. Briefly tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Victor. I'm Bulgarian. I'm based in London right now. I moved there from Singapore. I work with Citi, and I'm responsible for strategic partnerships in the private credit space, as well as investments in EMEA and Asia in alternative lenders, digital lenders, and etc.
All right, now you were part of the jury that appointed the winners for the Nordic Fintech Awards.
Yes, very exciting.
I'd love to hear your take. How do you experience innovation in the Nordics, and was there anything that you were particularly surprised about from what you heard?
Look, I mean, Nordics has a very strong pedigree of innovation. The fact is that there is a highly educated population, strong, clear regulation, very digitally savvy community, and so what you can expect is also very deep, kind of domain-focused innovation. What we saw was a very competitive applicant roster. So it was hard to pick the winners, although well-deserved within each category. Obviously, very impressive companies. What I would have liked to see maybe more is bigger, broader roster of applications. So I would encourage companies, in the coming years to maybe take the step and apply, because fundamentally that gives you visibility, ability to kind of train your pitch, as well as to meet a lot of people.
Right, okay, and that's actually a very good takeaway. Now, I understand that you've got experience being in Singapore and seeing more of a global perspective when it comes to innovation. Is there anything that the Nordics do particularly well?
Yeah, I think narrow specialization and focus on product market fit. Another thing which I think comes a little bit with the culture is the Nordics is not much about bolstering and overselling, so you know that whatever they're pitching you, they're probably better than that, right? And so it's very good to actually dive into the material that's being shared and understand what the companies are doing, and actually be pleasantly surprised and see the amount of traction that they're getting. In other areas, so for example, obviously there's a long history in focusing on sustainability and design. So you see that there's a lot of attention to these topics. The impact category was quite competitive as well, and it was great that Fundella won, but it was strong competition behind the scenes as well. And the other thing that I would note is in terms of digital banking and payments, obviously again long history, strong community, a lot of alumni from former unicorns. So this provides for a very fertile environment for innovation and entrepreneurship.
Right, and that's a very good point. Like so the alumni just tends to stay and build new companies within these markets,
exactly.
Right? And that just creates an exponential effect in the region.
Exactly, and a parallel that I can draw is, I mean, both Singapore, and Copenhagen to a certain extent are islands. The difference is that which basically forces them to think expansion-wise. And if you look at all the other Nordic countries, they're small. Their population is not strong enough to sustain, a large company with strong competitiveness, regionally. So what you do is you internationalize pretty early.
Yes.
Very similar parallel to Singapore. Singapore market, albeit rich, needs to look outside pretty quickly. And so from that point, you face the complexity of internationalization earlier on, which means that unlike certain bigger economies, companies are better prepared to sell internationally, to raise funds internationally, and to be more multinational at their core.
Right, I totally agree. I think that's a very good analogy that you make between Singapore and Denmark. Now, lastly, this is day 2. The place is buzzing still. With tons of people going past. Lots of panels, lots of discussions. What's been your key takeaway from being here at the Nordic Fintech Week?
Great content, great speakers, very good founders, lots of interaction, lots of energy. Loving it so far. And I think that they've done a very good job in. We had a little chat before that, just curating and making sure that the crowd is equally distributed between stages and meeting areas and days.
Yes.
Which means that there's a lot of activity, but it never feels overwhelming.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, Victor, it's been great meeting you. Thank you very much.
My
Enjoy
pleasure.
the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.